What's up, Trace with Alpine Science? I just wanted to touch base real quick on kind of some of my thoughts. I have some notes in front of me, regarding Kris and the situation, kind of what I think's going on. I think any sighting that happened. Oops, come on, my low power thing just came on. I think any sighting that happened out more than 48 hours after Kris was dropped off on October 12th at 3:30 is bogus, because I think there's a 48-hour window where he was alive, and I think after that window, anything beyond that point is noise, period. We had a critical event, a storm that was supposed to be the biggest storm of 15 to 20 years rolled in. It didn't hit those expectations. It was, but on the mountain it was serious. There were 2+ inches of rain for at least 3 days, freezing rain. Snow would have been better. And there were a cascading series of events that I think caused exposure and caused hypothermia. That is the risk out here for everybody. I had a near hypothermic incident myself 10 days prior. I know many other people that have. That storm ended many people's through hikes. There was story after story of people trying to make it through the night and then getting off trail. Winter had hit. October 12th, when winter is hitting in the Cascades, is fucking gnarly. That's the bottom line. So just wanted to kind of elaborate on a couple of my quick thoughts. So Blowout Mountain is just noise. It's just a derailment for efforts. Let's talk about, Alex Witt, who's coming Sobo, didn't see Kris. I think Kris, if he had made it to Chinook, he would have pulled out because it was gnarly. I don't think Kris was physically well. When I remember back at Forester, he was so skinny. He was in bed by 5 or 6, didn't talk to any of us, didn't eat with us. He was in bed, he was in bed early, and then I woke up late at like 9 o'clock in the morning or something like that. He was still in his bed, and he was still asleep. And that's when the north. Sorry, I'm getting texts here as I'm trying to film. Go away. So he was still in bed, and that's when the Korean film crew came up, right as he had woken up. That's my voice at the beginning of that interview. So he was lethargic. He was a slower than average hiker, I would say. He had gotten lost, I think, before VVR in the Sierra for like 14 miles or something. That's not a good sign. I don't think Kris knew how to use a map and compass. I know his phone was not working, but I don't think he had navigation skills. So I don't think, those two factors alone right there, when he came to White Pass, that's an issue. And to be fair, I think 95% of the people on the PCT don't have map and compass skills. Just carrying a compass alone is not enough. And taking a class isn't enough. You have to actually get out and practice. And the same goes for me. My map and compass skills are really weak. I haven't practiced. It takes, ongoing practice. So that's one thing. In terms of his rain layer, was a piece of shit Eddie Bauer piece. The most expensive best rain piece is going to wet out anyways, but an Eddie Bauer piece is going to wet out probably within an hour or two. So he woke up to freezing rain, wet it out probably immediately. He had no body fat. He had from what I understand, he had been sick throughout September with maybe Giardia or something. And it's impossible. People are sorry, I keep getting texts. And so he was ill. Him and Ultraviolet had been sick. He had what some describes as a near hypothermic, or an incident coming north right before he got to White Pass and Packwood. Other people said he's just kind of chilling. The problem is in that section, that's a 150-mile section. That's the longest one I even know I can think of on the PCT. When you are 1 or 2 days away from Packwood, which is food and refuel and showers, you're not holing up in a cabin because you just want to chill. And at that time of the year, we're frantic, dude. It is scary. You can feel it in the air. And we know there's storms coming. We know the season's going to end. You're waking up every morning with your socks frozen. It's gnarly. So he had an episode before getting into Packwood. And then I don't think he was physically in a good place. And I think that can have some cognitive ramifications in terms of decision making, which we see. He headed head first into a gnarly storm, knowing it was a gnarly storm. he may or may not have been wearing sandals. That it was just a poor decision. I think we can all agree, but I think there's a cascading series of events that goes along with that decision. So who knows what other decisions making was or was not going on. He also had a down. I think he had a down bag. He had little to no snow camping experience. What else? Yeah, so no navigation, probably didn't have the skills for a winter camping scenario, probably was in ill health. So there we go. We have our critical event. The storm is the crux. It is what it is. So pretty simple. What else? Yeah, I think that's really just the bottom line. I think it is that simple. I think theories about bear hunters and trees falling on people and all that stuff is just really noise. I think he's within 48 hours of White Pass, north of White Pass, and I believe this is all information that Doug Sanders wrote in the original search and rescue report. I mean, I think he pretty much nailed it. I've been in touch with him kind of since the beginning, and kind of using him as a sounding board. And my hope is that we can find Kris and send him home in 2018, and put this chapter to rest for him and his family. That's my goal. Hope everybody's well. Cheers.